step. Thank you so much for investing your time with us tonight. It is a broad and a great Thursday night. Welcome to our panel. Celebrate our panelists. And tonight, we welcome you to be our guests. We are going to be looking into a very interesting topic, as earlier on notified, that we are going to be looking at a Christian student on campus, how we are going to carry ourselves through from our very first year through to our final year in the university. I am your moderator, Evelyn Wangare, for there, born again and well in Christ. Paul Cheke is my co-moderator. Enjoy. Thank you. I want our panelists to introduce themselves right from my left, and they are going to tell us who they are. They are going to give us their names and give us a little bit of their life background in campus. Thank you.
On behalf of all the associates, to welcome you all to this university and congratulations on your achievements so far. So my name, as you've heard, is Timothy Omwenga. I'm born again, an associate of this university, Christian Union, main campus. I was in the year, I started the year 2018. I'm the class of 2018, which is just last year. And without saying much about myself, I will just delve into my life back in campus. My memories in campus mainly consist of the Christian Union. I thank God because immediately, right from the moment I joined campus, may I just say that this is my second campus where I started. I came from the university, and when I came here in this university, I came directly to the Christian Union. Initially, I got born again on the previous campus, and so I know the side, both the side of being outside Christ in campus and being inside Christ in campus. And it is a decision that I was glad to attend. Right from the first day, as Ebenezer had highlighted, yes, there was some confusion. I did not know so many things, but I thank God for this family because most of the things that I got to learn was through associating myself with brethren and fellow students who are in this campus. And so I started right from first year, first semester, and I continued fellowshipping and also serving the Christian Union. And through that, I looking back, I thank God because I made that decision. That is something that has helped me, even right now that I'm outside. They say outside there. That is the decision that I have made to be part of this family. It's continuously being beneficial up to this moment. And so that is why I'm very glad to be part of this team. So thank you so much. I believe and I hope that I will be more specific in our continuous discussions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really thank God for such an opportunity because the panelist sitting on my right oriented me, and the panelist sitting on my left, I oriented him. So it's a great opportunity actually. My name is Gudira Zarina. I come from Busia border. I take business information management and I'm a fourth year. I really thank God for such an opportunity. And when I remember my life 2016, when I was still a first year, that was September. I was still young as you people. And God was patient with me. This I have to testify because I came to the CU while I was not born again. But I really thank God because He walked, that voice really was always there for me. That Zarina just go to church. Till that day, on the 14th of July, when I was 1-2, that Jesus met me with His salvation. It is such a wonderful testimony. So I'm sure as much as you're seated here and you do not know Christ, don't faint, don't faint. The voice is still just go to church. Go to church. Thank you so much.
Praise God. I am John. I am a second year. Actually, I was laughing at you looking at me as if I am a fourth year. And then when Ebenezer said that I welcome this second year, first year graduate, I am a second year, a student 2.0. Actually, second years are not in session, but I am here for this orientation, the 2 weeks of orientation. I take a bachelor's in computer science, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be part of this. When I came to campus, the first thing that my neighbor told me, because I'm not, most of the time I spend alone at home because my dad is normally at work. So my neighbor told me, the moment you get to campus, just join the Christian Union. So after I finished the processes, the nominal role and stuff, I joined the Christian Union. And I'm telling you that's the best decision I made actually since we joined campus. And I've enjoyed it ever since. And my past semester, I've been here for 2 semesters, so that's 6 months. So I've enjoyed every bit. So every prayer session, every fellowship, every day of fasting, every session that we take in Gethsemane, the place where we normally do our prayers during the day, and every fellowship that I've attended, I've not regretted any one of them. So I can say that Christian Union main campus, KC University, is the best place to be.
Thank you so much, our panelists. And maybe to ask, ladies and gentlemen, how many of us were told to look for the Christian Union when they were joining campus? By a show of hands. How many were told to look for the CU? Hands up. Great. Mr. John, you can see that many of our students here were told to look for the CU. And as he has said that from then, his life has never been the same again. Praise the Lord. So I want us to go directly to the questioning and to this discussion. I want you to have expectations and also note down any questions that may come to your mind, because we are going to be having a question and answer session. To our panelists, maybe from John this way, would you briefly tell us some of the expectations you had when you were joining campus? Briefly, expectations.
Like most of you might have been told that campus is where, it's a free zone. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. So I expected to see miniskirts. Yeah, definitely. That's what I expected to see. So many ladies in miniskirts, few people in the Christian Union, different haircuts from different guys, and people driving their own cars and living lavishly. Now, I don't know if I should answer this, but when I came here, it wasn't really what I thought it would have been, because I've spent most of my time with the Christian Union, so I've seen more people here. You see, the number is so huge. So what I thought that the Christian Union wouldn't have more people actually was wrong. And people are dressed well, so not all of them, but most of them, as I can see now, people are dressed well. So I expected to see, nudity, just that, and well, that's not the case.
I had 3 expectations. One was to know the place KC, just to know this land. Where is it? How does it look? And who are the people who reside in this place? And 2, was to sit down and read, because that is the main thing that brought me from my home to KC. So it was to sit down and get good grades, and at the end of it all to get first class honors. That was my 2nd expectation. My 3rd expectation was to get a life partner in campus. Yeah. let me not add more, but let me stop there.
On that note, I don't think my expectations are exciting. But anyway, very first time in campus, one of my expectations, of course, was to grow academically. I know that in campus there are very serious people, and that is one thing I was expecting, that I might grow academically. And maybe just another thing, I used to imagine that when you reach campus, I used to see campus as very rich people, and I just knew that my status is going to financially, economically, is going to be uplifted. And another thing, on the moral side, of course, I used to consider campus as some place that is very immoral. And just so my first time coming to campus and realizing that there are people who actually attend the Christian Union was kind of a shock to me. And that is one of my expectations. But some of them, some of them were met, most of them were not really realistic. So thank you so much.
Wow, amazing expectations. And I know, like, every thought here, every person has these expectations. Let's hold them for the heart, right? Yes, we are going to share this. And we've heard that once they joined campus, they found their way into the CU, and as Zarina gave us her testimony, she gave her life to Christ, right? So maybe next is to ask, would you help us understand who a Christian student is?
To me, a Christian student, as much as I compare the life I was living before I became a Christian and that one that I professed Christ, is that a Christian student is this person that confesses that Jesus is Lord. He or she acknowledges that as much as I do anything, as much as I think of anything, I should always remember that Jesus is Lord. And He is the center of everything. And it's Him alone that I have to fix my eyes on.
A Christian student is that who does the right thing, considerate of the environment or anything. So we definitely know what God wants us to do. So that is what we should do any time of the day.
A Christian student for me personally is first of all a Christian who understands that he is part of a journey, and that journey started when he gave his life to Christ, when he got saved. And now that he is first a Christian, at this particular season that he is as a student, because he's not going to be a student forever, but I'm expecting him or her expectation is that he may be a Christian forever, that is having eternal life. And so a Christian student is that student, is that person or is that Christian that knows that for these 4 years or so that I'm in here, what does God expect of me? And uses all the opportunity and the chances that he gets to see that which God created him or sent him for to come into accomplishment.
Timothy just said that a Christian student is that student who studies Christianity. Did you hear that? That's just a by the way. And thank you so much for helping understand who a Christian student is. And our panelists have told us their side of getting born again or rather believing. So I would love if you could help us understand the challenges of being a believer or not being a believer in campus.
Being a Christian student in campus, of course, comes with a very big challenge. The Bible says that men love darkness rather than light. And most of the time, you'll be surrounded by men who love darkness. Whether be it in class, be it in the hostels, be it in the streets of campus. And therefore, you being overwhelmed or being surrounded by such it poses a challenge for you to shine your light. For example, if I can start from class 1. I'm not saying that this is what you're going to do. This group, I know that this is a very good group. I'm not expecting that you shall have people who, Ebenezer mentioned something known as Mwakenya. I believe that maybe this is not going to be part of it. But unfortunately, during our times, there were people, when it comes to, I'm talking about the academic side, when it comes to exams, and it is time to do exams. So people come with there are some people who used to joke that it's an academic requirement, known as an Mwakenya. It's an requirement to sit for exams. And you being a Christian student, seeing that your neighbor is effortlessly working his or her way through the exams by the use of an external SD card, just tabbing and downloading, it poses a challenge to you because you are the one who is struggling on the other side, and you are to some extent tempted. It goes back to the hostels. Zarina mentioned that he wanted one of our expectations is to find a life partner. And there are various ways of going about that. And the world teaches us, the other side of campus, that is life outside Christ. There are some people who can show you that there is a shorter way, an immoral way, by which you can go about that. And so you find yourself that you are in a situation, you are in a pit that people are portraying some form of ungodliness before your sight as far as relationship is concerned. And that is quite a challenge for you. And so as a Christian today, it poses some of the challenges, academically, economically, socially, it's quite a challenge. And one of the challenges, even as I finished up, because you are a business student and you desire for you your desire is to grow in Christ. And therefore, most of your time, shelling part of your time to give to that practice of growing growing in your walk with Christ. Actually, make time and give that time for this fellowship, because there is so many other things that are calling you outside this building. But just making time for that is quite a challenge, and it needs one to be really purposeful in his or her heart, so that he can see that, so that can come into accomplishment. So those are some of the challenges that I experienced during my time here.
First of all, when I say that I'm a Christian student, what I know that I am not a student first, but I know that I am 10,000 a Christian first. And so this one has an assurance because I have a hope. And so a challenge that we will face, or I will face by then that I was not a Christian, was that I'm not connected to the blessings of God. When God says that you are the head and not the tail, when God says that you are mine and I am yours, when God says that I will not forsake you, I will not leave you in everything that you go through, this means that you are not connected to these blessings. So these are the challenges you are getting. To me, you are on your own. You are your Alpha and you are your Omega. So it means in everything you believe in yourself. There is no one to help you. And so this is the challenge. And if you are a Christian, you are now connected to the blessings of Christ. However much you pass through hardships, because they still come, you know that there is a hope.
Many people have different challenges. And I was with a friend of mine, Israeli Ringo. Most of the continuing students know him. And this person, I think, is like one of those guys I look up to. And looking at him, I don't really think that he's a person who will be challenged with secular music or fornication. Though as youths, we are both challenged in that way, but for him, I don't really think that's a major challenge that he has. So I'd say, like mine, back then, before I got born again, that's in Form 2, I really loved secular music. So I'd say a challenge for me in campus is trying to keep away from such secular music when they are played like almost everywhere. Like today, I do not want to oppose what the administration has been doing, but I don't really think that they were playing gospel music. So us as Christians, we get to listen to such music, and it really affects us in some way. So that's a challenge in campus because the administration doesn't really take it to consideration that there are Christian students that do not really like listening to secular music. And we're forced to sit there for the orientation and stuff. The second thing is many of us want to grow, apart from spiritually and education-wise, we also want to grow even in sports, games, and even maybe in debates and stuff. So there are these groups in school, so in campus, where we have such groups. But now in such groups, though you are growing physically, you sport, you run, you grow, but the group doesn't really understand or take into consideration that you are a Christian, and every activity that takes place in that group should only be, if it's sports, let it be sports, let it not be, mixed with another activity which is not sporty, if it's sport. So you see, like say drama, they have this sort of psyching the crowd, which is not Christian-like. So that's a challenge. So if I am a Christian, I want to join the drama club. Then in such activities, I will have to step out, then come in when it's real business time. So that's a challenge. So joining clubs are not really what you wanted in a club. That's a challenge. And as I always say that different people have different challenges. So maybe there are different challenges that you will come through as you continue studying in this university. But there is definitely a way, to make that challenge not a greater challenge, or that challenge won't really affect you in matters of spirituality.
Oh, this is getting interesting, isn't it? And how many of us believe or really can back up the panelists in saying that it's not going to be easy as a believer in campus? That it's not going to be easy as a believer in campus. How many believe with us? Ah, nice. And maybe in a tidbit, I would love them to really help us understand the lifestyle that you as a freshman or woman will uphold as a Christian.
I'll use my example. The thing that I remember from this neighbor of mine who told me go join Christian Union in campus. And the moment I registered my name, and the first text I got that come to a movie, and I saw these activities of the Christian Union, it's every day, so I knew when I wake up in the morning, the activity that will be taking place in the Christian Union in the evening. So it was classes, Christian Union, hostel, classes, Christian Union, hostel. So I wouldn't say that it was much a problem for me, because my life in campus I could actually just categorize it in three. So it was just hostel, class, Christian Union. So I'll really urge you, to not copy what I was doing, because maybe you'll have some activities to do elsewhere during the day. But as for me, it was just class, not the dormitory, the hostels, and the Christian Union. The Christian Union has been taking much of my time and even the classes, and I feel so joyful saying that, and that has been so.
Yeah, thank you so much. As I told you earlier that I was a church girl, but I had not confessed Christ. So my lifestyle was very funny. I used to come to church just as you came, sit, listen to the words, the preachings will will be preached, then go back to my room. And so when I'm texted that please come for morning glory, we have a discipleship class, and I will ask myself, what are these people telling me? Don't they know that I came to get a first class honor? This is like wasting time, because now he will see where are we going? Just going to sit in that Sakiri hall. And I will ask myself many questions, but at the end of it all I will get an answer, just go. And I will come. So after coming, I listen to the preachings and I go till that date that my lifestyle changed. And now I started engaging with my fellow brethren. I felt the emptiness and the need to know Christ and to seek Him more. And so I started going for prayer sessions. I started attending Bible study. I started going for discipleship classes, and I found it very interesting. And I would even regret that why would how did I waste that time? And since then, I find joy in Christ.
The kind of lifestyle that a Christian student needs to partake in is first and foremost very, be it in your hostels, be it in your class. First of all, the Christian student must be the most social person around that place. I know that, we might have that feeling of, campus people are bad, campus do not associate with people, campus this and this and this. But as for you, you seek to, because we are the light of the world, and we cannot be, a city cannot be hidden, that is upon our head. And so, we need to first of all be the most social people that this campus can ever have. And from that point, Jesus was a friend of sinners. But some people, they associate so much, use that phrase to justify their hanging out with the worldly people. But as you can see, the lifestyle of Jesus, he used to visit, but when he walked with his fellow disciples. And so, as much as you seek to have your influence be felt around the people around you, you need also, first of all, to be grounded with people who have common beliefs as you. And from that lifestyle, and from that standpoint, it will influence how you relate, how you go about your business. And another point, the kind of lifestyle that you need to live, a Christian student needs to be very intentional about each and everything that is going to do. If you want to succeed academically, spiritually, economically, and socially, you need to be very intentional about each and everything. From this, I know some of you have just joined this place today or maybe yesterday, but you have been intentional to come to this place. There are some people who did not raise their hands when the panelists started by asking who was taught to join the Christian University. But it has taken your own initiative to be in this place. And so whether you want to succeed in all those spheres of life, a Christian student needs to take up a lifestyle of intentionality, each and everything that he does. As if you want to succeed academically, it is not going to happen by mistake. You're not going to be anything by mistake, because nothing here happens by mistake, but it's a result of the choices that you make. And so you need to be very intentional. You need to schedule your time. If you want to give time to grow in your walk with Christ, you need to be very intentional about it. There are going to be various opportunities and various, I believe, as you continue with the orientation, you're going to be informed of the various opportunities that the Christian Union and also individual people give you to grow in that sphere, and also as well as every sphere of life. So my encouragement to you is that whether you're good at sports, kindly join sports. Whether you're good at any other talent that you'll be practicing, kindly join those. Because we want people to be social, and even as you join that place, be very intentional about what you want to achieve there, and also so that your influence can be felt at the end of the time here in campus. So that is my take on that.
I know that is clear. I don't know whether I'll be wrong saying that from what they've said, the idea of resolving, the idea of decision making is coming out. as a Christian, and to this matter, as a young student Christian, you've just joined campus and you've chosen to be here, part of this family. As in, you need to make decisions, as they have said. They have told us what a Christian, whom a Christian is, whom a Christian student is. They have told us that as a Christian, you're also going to face challenges. And they've also told us that as a Christian, there is that lifestyle that all of us we ought to live. Decision making. Now, you've heard that, you've been told that, and that will remain to be with you. You know, they say that words are just amongst the few things that when they're mentioned, they cannot be remembered again, or they cannot be repeated again the same way they were said the first time. So, those are wise words. There's three things that I know that we as students, we do face when we're in campus. One is the social life, two is the spiritual life, and three is the academic life. I don't know what we think when that comes to our mind. I would like our panelists to help us understand how we can strike a balance between social life, spiritual life, and academic life, because these are very crucial parts of our stay as we are staying here in campus.
The very first reason as to why we are all here in this university is academic. So we all want to get the first class honors, as Zarina has said, and actually every one of you is going to promise the vice chancellor a first class honors at the end of the orientation. So academic to many will come first, then spiritual life, then maybe social life. So I'd say, okay, as for me, my social life has always, okay, I can even link it to spiritual life, because most people that have socialized with are from the Christian Union. So most of the time in the Christian Union, as for me, has made me grow spiritually and socially, because I've been interacting mostly with the Christian members, the Christian Union members. So I wouldn't say or advise you to do so, but you know, as he has asked, striking a balance between social and spiritual and academic isn't that difficult, because as for me, my social life has been with the Christian people, so spiritually and socially, as it's just it's balanced already in that. And academically, I set my time and I follow it. So during the day it's classes, then in the evenings, time like this, then it's church. And then in the morning I start with the morning devotion. We have even in program the consistent Bible reading. So classes, see you, social life in the Christian Union. I have not been socializing much with the outsiders. Okay, I wouldn't call them the outsiders, but okay, the people that aren't in the Christian Union.
Let me tell you how I do this. I value my education, but I don't overvalue my education. Did you get that? I value my education, but I don't overvalue my education, because I have this assurance: seek first the kingdom of God, and all the others shall be given unto you. This is how I do it. And even in class, I'm asking Zarina, how do you manage? Because through this Christian walk, I've been a leader, and I serve in various pockets in the CU. And so, like, you can have meetings till like night, and in the morning you have to attend your classes. I don't abscond my classes. I have to attend to them. But they ask me, how do you manage? Because you are, when a cut is given, you are okay. And you still attend to these church things. They call them church things. And I tell them, I know that He is God. And He always tells me, be still, because I am God. above everything. And for the social life is much more connected with Christian life. How? Because back then I always thought, I thought that my relationship with God, that if it's right, it's like a two-circuit, those who did physics, a two-circuit thing, God and me. So if I'm right with God, everything is perfect. But I came to realize it's not. I have to get to the three-circuit. I have to be right with my neighbor, that is a friend. I have to be right with God. Because when the relationship between me and my neighbor is poor, then with God it's not right. So for social life, I really read the word just to know what does God need from me socially, how to live with fellow friends, with classmates, with these people who do not confess Christ. I have to interact with them.
Well, living a balanced life is very important because just as eating a balanced diet, whenever there is too much of something or whenever there's a deficiency of something, there are outside signs to show that, you know, this person is lacking in this. You can be very good in academics, but lacking in the social life. At the end of these 4 years, you are very good in academics, you have a first class and everything. You can also be very good socially, but you find that you have gone off balance in one or two areas concerning your academics or your walk with Christ. And so, going back to my first illustration, that socially, when Jesus used to visit and used to actually eat with the tax collectors and various people who are considered to be very evil. And him being Jesus, him being without sin, did not mean that he did not associate with them. But look at then when he walked, when he carried out his ministry, the people that he closely did eat with them were his were his disciples. When he walked with the disciples, but when he came, but he used to visit and sit down with people who are not of the same faith, bringing it to our own place here in campus. Yes, as I say, that you need to be very social. You need to be the person that whenever there's an opportunity or a leadership opportunity, whether in class or outside class, and you feel you have that sense of calling, you need to take up that opportunity. Through that, your influence as a Christian can be felt socially, even as far as leadership is concerned. The social welfare of the people whom you serve, and I was privileged, our group was privileged to produce, I believe it was the first ever Christian Union, who was a Christian Union leader, and he served as the school's union president. And it was, as any continuing student who happened to be during his tenure, his leadership was unparalleled. So says the Bible verse that when the righteous are exalted, the people rejoice. And so socially people came to enjoy a lot of benefits, but the virtue of a Christian student having that opportunity, having that seat. And so you need to be very social, you need to be outgoing, you need to be very keen. But be mindful that even as you are associating with people, the brothers, the sisters here in the Christian Union, whom you share the same faith, you need to be very close to them. You need to be open. You need to open up your life to scrutiny. Not live a life that we do not know who you are, what you do, where you live, or what's going about, what business you're going about. But you need to be very open to each and every person that you consider to be a brother and sister. When it comes to the economic life, my station was that universities are very rich. But I happen to find that, there are people who have, we have various challenges. We come from different economic backgrounds. I remember, and I'm just going to give one point when it comes to economy. I remember the first leadership training that I attended when I was in second year second year. The person that was facilitating that session, he mentioned something that I'm using until today. If you want to have a balanced life economically, you first need to be honest with yourself. Be honest with where you are economically. Because people end up, especially students, end up in economic problems, let me call them, because you are trying to outlive a life that you have not really reached at that moment. You don't believe that, personally, I cannot eat beef each and every day. You believe that, I'm a child of God, I'm the daughter of the Most High. I cannot eat something that is less than my stature. And you end up eating a good meal in two days, and at the end of those 2 days, you end up suffering in the last 5 days. So economically, you need to be really honest with where you are, and you really need to be contented. Contented does not mean that you don't want an improvement in your life, but being honest with yourself that, this is where God has placed me at this particular moment. And even as He has placed me in this season, I know that it will be only for a season. And so let me just be honest with myself that this is my expenditure. Just because there's some people, okay, I don't know who are regulars, already the regular visitors of the Mass. Praise God. Wako hapa. Ama nyi wote you eat some very good food. But it used to be criticized, and people, because of the pressures and the idealistic ideas that people have concerning the Mass, people used to go out of their pockets so that they can eat in a very fancy place. But at the end of the day, they suffer. So do not make decisions based on what others expect of you, but you need to be honest with yourself, you need to be contented, and the Lord shall continuously provide for you even as you continue. Academically, first of all, you're a student, and that is very important. And so, academics, you need to really prioritize. You really need to be very good. You need to be the best person. Actually, Christians should be the first people in class. They need to be very disciplined. They need to be really hardworking, because you can be able to influence others. That's how you can be able to attract and because a Christian student is a person who knows what are the expectations. What does God expect of me at this particular moment? And so we really need to prioritize. When it comes times to class, and you attend class, be very intentional about each and everything that you're going to do. And finally, spiritually. Jesus, when he was a very busy person. I believe he was one of the busiest persons to ever walk in this earth. But the Bible says that early, each day, as it was the custom, he used to start his day having a fire child, just by himself, just communicating to his Father, seeking guidance, seeking clarification, seeking strength, seeking encouragement. Just start your day as a business student, because your life is different from the others. You really need to start your day with God. You need to continue being in that state of continuous fellowship with God. And as you start your day from that standpoint, you will find that the rest of the day is balanced. Even if there will be challenges, even if there will be issues, but by the starting of your day, you will find that at the end of the day, all things are work for good. So that is my take, socially, economically, academically, especially.
Wow, I think it's clear that when it comes to social, spiritual, and academic life, we are no exception, because these are the things that we are all going to face. We are all going to choose what to prioritize, what to put as the first, the second, and the third, and what to consider as the most important of all. One thing I know is that all of us, we are here because we worked yesterday. I know you guys, when you're in Form 4s, I'm sure you are not sleeping. I know some of you, maybe you are translating the class, just preparing a gift. By the grace of God, you find yourself in this university. So one of the reasons as to why you're here is your academics, your academic life. So another thing is that you're supposed to understand is that we also are human beings, and human beings are born social beings. So there is that part of the social life.
I remember when my previous home for, we came 11 of us in KISS University. I think 4 or 5 of us were doing the same course. So you can imagine, you studied someone back a few years ago, the same class, and right now you're in the same class. And I just want to bring the aspect of the social life here. And most of the time, we don't see each other, as in we don't meet. We just see the person is in class, and we don't talk much. Right now, maybe I do have more close friends, maybe than them. And back then, we used to be together always. So, the social life. So, as you have joined here, I know maybe you even don't know the next person who is just sat next to you. And by the end, maybe of this semester, you'll be having friends. So, that becomes part of your social life. And sometimes, socially, we get lost, as in the decisions we make, as in every time you're with your friend, and maybe you've not even chosen your friend wisely. So, that is what our panelists are helping us to understand, that we have to stratify between me and my friend, me and my academics, and me and God, me and my spiritual life. So, understanding that. And I think it's very clear, as they have stipulated it, that we have to understand the reason as to why you are where you are. You have to understand the impact and the reason of what you're engaging yourself in. I'm sure all of us, we're not perfect. We're just walking to in the path of perfection. And I'm sure even our panelists here, I know maybe they have missed a mark in one way or another in their stay in 4 years in campus. I just want them to help us understand if yes, they have ever experienced an imbalance between social, spiritual, and academic life, and how they handled that.
My first year transcript, the provisional transcript, it had 12 units, and I had 6 A's. I had 2 missing marks. I had, the others were B's, and I had a big D. And I asked myself, is this the first class honor I'm seeking with a D in first year? Oh my God. And I felt like now I'm losing focus. And it's not that I didn't read. I read. In fact, I prepared very well. And now I come and have a D. And that the lecturer of that unit, that you still can get an A. So I asked my classmates how. And they told me, you go talk to him. And now how? And my friend said, Zarina, usijisumbue, that D is enough. You are a Christian and you know the importance of living a pure life. And so I was told that when you get to that lecturer, you can negotiate and you can compromise and you get an A. I told God, this was your plan. If getting a D will make me miss a job, or maybe let it be. And it took so much depression to accept that I have a D on my transcript. Because I expected to be S and B's, and if I come and maybe perform, it is a C. But I have a D. I felt very bad, and I'm really working hard. I really I look forward to getting good grades. I discuss, I read, I do everything, and I trust God is going to do it. Socially, back then, I used not to interact with people so much. Maybe my personalities are being an introvert. And so, after church, I go back to my room. And so I used to see people when they get out and, hey, I missed you. People are hugging each other. And I was like, I'm lonely and no one knows me. And so I told myself, you just go back to your room. And I really felt bad. Till a time when I was going to serve in a committee, that is a discipleship committee. And these people are telling me, Zarina, you know, you have to interact. You have to know people. You have, you know, these people are not just friends in campus. These people are partners in future. And so I ask myself, so that expectation of life partner can link up with this. And so I started interacting, and I thank God for the friends I have, and now they are good friends. Yeah. And spiritually, sometimes we fall as Christians. This one I want to confess this, because we are not perfect. And at some point, you feel like, you know, you have to go to the fellowship, but you pretend to be busy. This one is with all students. I know we like making ourselves busy when we actually are doing nothing. When you watch a movie till 3 a.m. and the following day you now want to pretend to that you really worked hard yesterday night, and now you are busy and you want everyone to know that you really worked hard till 3 a.m. What is that, seriously? And that one I learned to choose my entertainment. I learned to plan my time. I learned to know that what is important, and actually, if it is important, is it really urgent? Is it a must I watch a movie? Is it a must I go for that party? Is it a must I go visit that friend? If I have something else to do. Yeah, thanks.
I say that the Christian Union has been taking most of my time, and I sometimes, you know, in my alone time, I really blame the Christian Union for the exams being tough. Yeah, that happened. Because the Christian Union has been taking much of my time, and now the cut is the next day of the exam. So if the exam in Aguharas, and they say if I were not in the Christian Union the previous day, then this wouldn't have happened. Maybe I would be in the library studying. So that has been a challenge, you know, managing my time, you know, putting the academic life and the spiritual life as the one goal that to achieve. And I even realized that I didn't have time for myself, because in the first semester I lost 10 kilograms. Yeah, 10 kilograms. So siko na time ya kula. I did not have that time to eating myself. So I lost 10 kilograms. I spent my time mostly in CU and studying. So in these two, the academic life and the spiritual life, I lost friends, because you don't have time for WhatsApp, you don't have time to text, you don't have time for Facebook. So unafungua WhatsApp and you find like 7 messages. The first is hi, the second I think you don't want to talk to me. Why is this so, and stuff. So you are not replying to any of them. They're like, I don't really think this guy wants us as friends, because it wasn't just one. Walikuwa wengi, as in even I'm not speaking of girlfriends. Yeah, I'm not such minded. There were friends who are back from high school, and they say that John has changed since Amanda University, and this has been happening. He hasn't been replying. So socially, I've been going down after putting focus on the academic and the spiritual life. So that has been a challenge, losing friends. So in a holiday, you're going back home and they're saying, why has this been so? And they like act, you know, they are repulsive to you. So that has been a challenge.
Yes, I think being the oldest of the three, I believe I'm the one who talks in the very many mistakes that I've made during my time here in campus. And yes, of course, my life was not very perfect. There were times that I really failed, And that was really due to that aspect of being very much intentional. Whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to become at the end of 4 years, it all starts when you start early. When you make that intention to be successful in all these years of life, as early as possible. Personally, when I joined campus, yes, I joined the Christian Union, yes, I was a Christian, but that aspect of very big intention, being very intentional of what I want to achieve and what I want to do, had not really sunk in me. It took almost 3 years in campus so that I could really get it, because there was time, just as Zarina said, if you do not plan your time, you'll find that you are up until 3 a.m. in the morning, doing something that is not really much fruitful, but because you're not intentional about what you're preparing, what you want to spend your time for, you end up spending over the next day. You end up missing out on the devotions. You end up going to class early, end up going to class late, very unprepared. You try to catch up with the semester a bit late. And personally, that for me has really happened. Then exams, I honestly have to say that I went into the exams very much unprepared. Just because I did not plan, but thank God I did not use a more Kenyan. So, but I've suffered the consequences of of having going to class unprepared. So it is very important to know that yes, you are a Christian, but yes, Christians also fail exams, but you do not have to, because you need to plan and prepare the purpose as early as now to establish yourself academically. Another aspect that I remember when I was starting my fourth year, I was running a business, a small business, and I was trying to grow myself economically. But unfortunately, and some of the brothers and sisters that I used to study with have fallen victim to this, that whenever you engage yourself economically so much, which is good, which is very advisable, but if you lack that balance, you will end up that business or that important engagement that you have will end up taking you and drawing you away from the fellowship, because life is good, life is such like gatherings to you is not really that important if you have an opportunity to make money. But thank God I made the decision to stop. It was actually during the start of when I started my first, actually it was my second orientation, the orientation team. I made a decision to put it into a hole so that I can grow. That is the place that's why I'm saying that it took me 3 years to find myself that I'm growing in my personal devotion to God. I'm growing socially because I'm being I took up the role of class rep, and through that gave me a very good platform to interact with various, a lot of some of my classmates, and some of them by the value of the quality of life that I was living, they were really inquisitive about how do you do that, why do you do that. It's amazing that you never sit in exams. How does that happen? And through that, by the grace of God, I was able to find myself being able to stabilize in all those areas of life. And socially, it's very important, as I close, to be found in a group. To be found in a group of people who have common beliefs. That is in the Christian Union. I have some friends, we are still friends up to date, and by the virtue of us working together as brothers, we are able to stand up, even now that we are out here, when there is no dad or mom in the CU, there is nothing that there is no one who is following us in our present life right now. But the virtue of being found in a group where you are held accountable for your action, it has really helped us. Because once you draw away from the fellowship, there's another fellowship that you have to attend. No one is even if you say that you know me, I'm just me alone, I'm out. There is someone or something that is influencing you. In discipleship, we say that everyone is being discipled by something. And so be found in a group of people who have common beliefs so that you can be able to grow social. But if you draw away, fortunately there have been very unfortunate cases of people drawing away from the mission, and it has not really ended up for them. So be found in a group, purpose, create time, be intentional about each and everything that you're going to do. And I believe you're going to have a fruitful stay in campus.
We are grateful to God for this group so far, and let's exercise our minds. That in campus, if you want to lose 10 kgs, what do you do? Somebody, what do you do when you want to lose 10 kgs? People, what do you do? Well, I can feel the mamas, and the laughter tells me that you can borrow from John's story, so do not fall prey of the same. I want just to give us a hint of something that has been helping me of late, is striking a balance in everything you do. Have a weekly plan. Well, on Sunday, be quite aware of what you will do on Monday, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and last week unfold. Praise the Lord. So know what you will do the following week, like today. When is today? Today is Thursday. Have a clear picture in your mind of what you will do tomorrow and what you will do on Saturday. That will help you not to have some intrusions in your daily program. Well, because of time, I want to only give one person to help us by giving us their testimony, which will help us to see how they grew when they were students in the DC University. Praise the Lord. And one person who qualifies for that question is our one and only Timothy, who is an associate. Let him tell us how he grew spiritually in Kisii University. Well, not in Kisii Christian Union, but in Kisii University, surrounded by all the things that we have talked about.
Well, thank you so much. Just as I mentioned, when I first came here, I came here being a student, being a Christian. And the first step that I took, my closest friends used to come from this, people who have the same common beliefs that I had. That is the most important thing. That I first associated, I found my friends, my closest of friends in the Christian Union. And that was good because there were people who were challenging me in my growth. There were people who sank it into me that being a Christian is not just about attending a Sunday service. It's not just something that you feel in your religion, whenever you are asked to feel your religion, Christianity. But it's being that aspect of having a personal daily walk with God. And joining the Christian Union, it taught me, it was the good starting point where I could be established spiritually. The second thing is to be involved in the various ministries, is to be involved in the ministries, various ministries which are being run by the Christian Union. That was a good platform because it gave me opportunities to practically, this is my Christian faith. It gave me opportunities. The first ministry that I joined was discipleship. And through the discipleship ministry, that was the first ministry that I joined. And through the discipleship ministry, I came to learn that what it means to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. It taught me on how to conduct myself in class, in life, in matters, in each and every matter of life. It taught me on how to relate with my fellow students in campus. And it gave me that good opportunity because not just being surrounded by brothers, but be taking that initiative to practically involve myself in discipleship. And through discipleship, I came to learn on how I need to do personal Bible study. Because personally for me, Bible study was just reading the Bible. But through discipleship, I came to learn that they're not just about reading the Bible, but they're just being intentional on how you want to set your time. We learned about, I also learned about the aspect of having quiet time. That is something that really impacted me personally. It really impacted, that is, I would say that is the point that I was really established in Christian Union. And so, from then on, I continued to continuously involve myself in the activities that really challenged me personally, in my Christian walk. And being surrounded by a band of brothers gave me the courage to also to be mindful of who I am. And also your personal testimony is very important. Something that really helped me save me from a lot of trouble or a lot of temptation is how you portray yourself amongst your various students or various classmates. Because once you have established and people know, I did not make a class announcement that I'm a Christian, but the way that you conducted yourself and made yourself to be, the way you conduct yourself, people will really know that, this person, you cannot approach him this and this way. And that really helped me. And my classmate, my fellow classmate, used to confess to a brother, and I came to learn it indirectly that I've never seen someone like Timothy, not because of the best, but through the quality of life that had portrayed. It really helped me. I intentionally put myself in a place that I can be really exposed whenever. I placed myself in a place that people really know who I am, and it did not really, and that really helped me in maintaining and growing as a Christian student. And so that is something that really helped me, and that aspect of just being found in a place where you are personal growth, not just about the people that you're fellowshipping with, but the main thing is that place of personal growth. That is the place that has helped me, and socially, and I thank God because even the job that I'm doing right now, it's still that aspect of, being found in a place whereby you have people who can support you. And so that is something that really benefits me up to today. So that is my own personal testimony.
Wow, that testimony is powerful. I know all of us, we have testimonies. Today you've been here, you have a testimony, you have a history of where you come from. And there is one day when I was in Form 3, one of my chemistry teachers, I had some teachers in chemistry, so he was once talking to us and he gave us a brief history of his campus life. And he told us that he had come from a very humble home, and one day he decided to ask one person in campus, a very guy that was very attractive to him because of how he conducted himself, the way he did his things, and he asked him, how have you been surviving all through in campus? Because he was taking the life campus being so hard for him. And that person told him, just close your eyes. Not just like, close your eyes. All of you, just close your eyes. Have you closed your eyes? Okay, just close your eyes. Look at your home. Yeah? As you close your eyes, just look at your home. Then open your eyes. He told him to do that. Close your eyes. Look at your home. Then open your eyes. I know you know what you've seen. I don't know. So from that, decide how do you want to live your life in campus. Kenya is very large. We all have not come from the same village. We all have not come from the same surrounding. We have come maybe from Weda family. We have come from families that are maybe humble. But you can be the person to decide how that is going to be the future among the coming days. I can see our time is far much gone, and I would like to, I know our minds are really wild and we may have a lot of questions with us. So I just want to invite 2 or 3 questions. So if you have a burning question, just raise up your hand and I'll give you a mic and your question will be responded. So if you have a question, just raise up your hand. Feel free to ask, because I know even yourself you had an objective that you hoped that it is going to be met. Maybe if you have a question, just raise up your hand.
Thank you so very much, our dear panel. So my name is Samson from Christian County. So I want to know this, please. Is it mandatory for every single member to join a hike group?
This is what I would advise. It's not mandatory, but it's very important. Kindly be there for the hike on Saturday. You will learn more and you won't regret. It's nothing out of, when you had that jibaba, we are not jibabaring out of Christ. We line with Christ.
Okay, thank you for the chance. Thank you for the facilitators of my night. The service has been wonderful. Okay, my question is very simple. I've joined here. I'm a first year student, committed in Christ, but due to circumstances, so many of us get bad and backslide and follow the patterns. Yes, I met a very challenging situation, maybe influence from the friends and other people. How will I be able to handle such a situation to ensure that my relationship with God is okay and it has not been destroyed? Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that question. I need to agree and concur with you that that's very true. There are people who join as a student, a student who is a Christian. They join campus, they started out strong, but somehow along the way, due to some outside interference, they backslid. Some of them beyond not beyond restoration, but some of them we do not know their testimony as of now. And it's something that has happened. There are cases that have happened. Of course, I cannot mention names, but I need to validate and to agree with you that yes, it has happened. My brother and my fellow also brothers and sisters, temptations will always come. Your faith will always be challenged. Something that is not challenged is something that is not worth it. There's a reason that you have something tempting is because there's a war within you that is happening. And you really need to live, even as you continue with your work here, you need to believe that there's a possibility that yes, you could be challenged. And the first thing and the most important thing, the Bible says that we should strengthen ourselves, strengthen the inner man. Strengthen yourself strengthen the inner man with might. Because when Jesus came to earth, he did not challenge what we do in the outside. But that's why he said that, a new commandment that I give unto you is love your neighbor, is to love your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. And also the same thing is to love your neighbor. And that is something that you used to do with. The Bible says that it has been said to you, Jesus says that it has been said to you that do not commit adultery. But Jesus lifted the standard a little bit high. He said that even if you just look at with an astral intention, you've already sinned. And so it is something that starts from within. Being able to strengthen yourself in the inner man. And there are provisions for that. And it's through, first of all, it's through this fellowship. And also through this fellowship, it will also challenge you in going into having that personal daily relationship with God. Personal daily with the relationship with God. And to really be established yourself through study of the word, through prayer and intercession. That is a way that will continuously strengthen you in the inner man. And another important aspect that you need to, and something that will really help you, is to be found in a band of brothers or sisters. You need to be with people that you share the same belief. People who know you. You need to be very vulnerable and to be very honest and to be found with, yes, we are a fellowship, but you need to have those 2 or 3 people that you can really confide to, because there are some things that, there are some issues that explode just because someone walked through it alone. But if you had, first and foremost, confide that issue to your close confidants, you will have been helped through that. And that group does not only just help you through that, but keeps you accountable. So that whenever you see, because people just don't backslide in one day, or in 1 second, or in one hour. But it's a process that has been happening, and it has culminated in that total and full backsliding. But being able to find yourself in a place of fellowship where you can be able to be vulnerable to your fellow brothers and sisters, it will really help you. Personally, that is something that has helped me. Even though there was a time that I was telling, there was a time I could really confess to you that I did not even want to come to the CU anymore, because I felt so distant from God. I just felt that, it was a very hard moment in my life. But because of being found, having a brother or a sister who is close to you, they could speak a word into your life, they could speak a word of encouragement, and that word could be what God can use to bring you closer to you. So my encouragement and my plea to each and everyone, seek to grow in your personal devotion, daily devotion to God, so that He can help you. Because each and every day there are new challenges, and without being having that opportunity of strengthening yourself with might in the inner man, you will stumble. You will be challenged in a place that it will be overwhelming. But if you find yourself if you fellowship together with brethren here, they will help you through it. And by the grace of God, we shall succeed.
I'm Karen Mara. This is my question. I've heard you talk about the expectations. But now as first year, having left home under the shadows of parents and teachers, what were some of your fears as you joined the university?
My fear, they would tell you go and get into a church, and so the church will see you. But because I was raised by a Christian mother, and so, and she will also remind you that not everyone will see you is good. So, Mom, I go to church and not everyone is good. So where do you want me to go? And this was my fear actually. They can see you, but when a brother says how you fear, you think he's a monster, and you will really fear everything. And then my another fear, they will tell you that, in campus, there come a time that you will miss the exam and you'll fail to graduate. Sometimes you miss a cut, miss an assignment. This was my fear, my worry always, that when you miss a class, you won't graduate. So, how do I manage this? Because you sometimes also time you go to class, ama sometimes you'll be sick. So nikiwa mgonjwa pia niende to class. Ati inafaa kuende tutakosa graduate. And hizo 4 years zitaisha na tena utalipia 4 years zingine. You are very naive, and it's very interesting when I look back.
Well, we have heard that clearly. So, I know our time is somewhat gone, and I know we've enjoyed. At least you've gotten something, a glimpse of who a Christian student is, the challenges that you're likely to face as a Christian, the importance of decision making, the importance of being a people who are born again, how to balance between your social, spiritual, academic, and economic life, and I'm sure you have a good take home. So I'm just going to give each of the panelists here 30 seconds to conclude and say a word that they would want you to take home.
Praise God. What I'd like to tell you is, manage your time wisely. Manage your time wisely. Wake up in the morning knowing what you're going to do for the day. Wake up in the morning knowing what you're going to do for the day and have a plan on how you're going to do it. If it's, you have 2 classes in that day, then know what you're going to do after the classes, knowing that you're not going to spend your time doing something which is irrelevant.
Serving God is infinitely the most rewarding thing in campus. More than any other relationship, more than any other possession you have, the help, the iPhones you have, the 10,000s you have in your suitcases, more than any other temporary pleasure, serving God is the most rewarding. And life is in between B, C, D. Birth and death. It's all about your choice, the C. Thank you.
In Joshua chapter 12, the chapter starts by God talking to Joshua, and he was looking at Joshua and saying that, Joshua, my servant, is old and well advanced in years, but there is still so much land to be taken, to be occupied. As associates, yes, we have served our time here. We have grown old. And our time has passed. But there is so much land to be taken. There are so many opportunities to be exploited. As you start this journey, I pray that God will enable you, will guide you in occupying those places that still lack or still fall short of the Christian influence. Be it in leadership, be it academically, be it socially, there is still so much land to be taken. So we need to take up this opportunity and take that land for the glory of God. And another thing, enjoy your life in campus. A nice place, it's a good place. If you will enjoy it, being guided by Jesus Christ. Thank you so much.
We thank God for the time He has granted us. And what we've had here is just, it's just a tip of an iceberg, or rather, it's just the icing on the cake. So dig more. Spend your time with some continuing students, also those who are in the faith that you profess. Get to know more about life, share your experiences, and get to know things. Don't just hide yourself in your room. Get out, speak to people, get to know perspectives of people, and again get to know your giftings and your area of ability. And thank you so much for coming. It's indeed an honor to be with you. And if you can just handshake, just shake your hands. And it's an awesome moment. And as we leave the stage, we are grateful that you sat as our audience. Thank you for the questions you've asked. Thank you for the listening ear you gave us. We are honored, and we pray we can only trust God to carry you through, the freshmen and women, to carry you through in consistency in your walk with Christ. We wish you but the best and the best stay in Kisii University CU. Your host and moderator, Eugene Wangari.
I've also been your host, Paul Chenge, and that is to God bless you.